Thank you for staying here on Joy News Desk. Now, Vice Chairman of the Ghana 60 Planning Committee, Samuel Agyarko, says Ghana's history has contributed to the skepticism expressed by a section of the public on the planned celebrations. Some Ghanaians have expressed concerns about the Ghana 60 celebrations, citing the scandal that rocked the Jubilee celebrations as a reason. Now, President Akufo-Addo at the inauguration program at the Flagstaff House on Thursday tasked the committee to be modest in their programs of activities due to challenges facing the economy. Now, Vice Chairman of the committee, Samuel Agyarko, in an interview with Joy News' Maxwell Agbagba, says the committee is mindful of this past and will be frugal in the celebrations.
What would be the legacy of Ghana 60 celebration?
Some discussions are ongoing between stakeholders, among stakeholders in government, at a very appropriate time, sooner than you think. You can imagine we're going to come out with some initiatives and programs and roadmaps in relation to the 60th independence anniversary celebration of our country. But you should be rest assured that we're going to have a few worthy and dignified legacy projects for the 60th anniversary celebrations. That certainly will happen.
For Ghana 50, for instance, we know the Secretariat actually put in some plans to internally generate funds. I mean, there were a lot of things going on to raise funds to fund the celebration. Do we have that also for Ghana 60?
The committee members will meet, deliberate, and come up with a strategy of dealing with the 60th anniversary celebration. But on top of my head, and personally, I think the guiding principle for the committee should be to package this anniversary celebration in a way that will be so attractive that key stakeholders or players or private sector players will be interested in associating or partnering or subscribing to this anniversary. So let's say we should be able to package this celebration in such a way that Joy FM and its competitors or Joy News and its competitors will be very eager to be the official media broadcast what have you for the celebration or associated with the celebration, and the celebration is so attractive that you want to be the official media outlet, and that in itself generates competition, and that can be a source of funding for the committee. So this is a task that we have to surmount, an intelligent, skillful approach in getting the 60th Diamond Jubilee celebration so attractive that, for instance, the telcos will be competing among themselves to partner with us in respect of this anniversary, or that this or that. But that is a task ahead of us which we are going to have to intelligently deal with.
But can you assure us that in going to these corporate organizations, I mean, we will not be taking loans, because in the past celebration, we had to take $11 million loan from Fidelity Bank just to celebrate.
Well, I've told you that we're in a completely new era. But I've said this lightly, that 50 years ago, it's 10 years ago. We are 60 today. And 10 years in the life of a human being is not mean a span, let alone a country. We must have learned some lessons, and we must be moving on.
What do you say to critics who say that we could have channeled these resources that we're using for the celebration into other areas? For instance, the power sector is struggling, though it has stabilized a bit now. There's more we can do.
What about building a power plant as a legacy project for 60th anniversary?
Yeah, that would be beautiful.
Okay, so we're going to have an opportunity to talk about all of these things and then tailor the celebrations in a way that is productive in and by itself, and not just be a fanfare affair, but be a celebration which is also productive and substantive in terms of the needs of our people.
Okay.
Let's move to Parliament now. Parliament on Thursday approved the nomination of 8 out of 13 of President Akufo-Addo's ministerial nominees. Excluded in the approval were Senior Minister-designate and Energy Minister-designate. Chairman of Parliament's Appointments Committee, Joe Osafo, in an interview said the House would soon clear Senior Minister-designate Osafo Maafo and Energy Minister-designate Boakye Agyarko for approval by the House. Now, the committee froze approval for the two to seek further clarification on some comments of theirs during the vetting session. Jose Wusu says the necessary documents have been made available to them.
On the first list, we have finished report on 8 of them. It is true that 2 of those who were among the first to be vetted were not among this first list. It is only because we needed some clarification on some information. We have them now, so they will be added to the last 3 we did.
What clarification?
I've explained already. They wanted them to clarify some information they are giving us. Some had been challenged about a statement, a committee's report, and we needed to see the report. You recall that we asked Honorable Agyarko whether he was willing to tender a report, and he said yes. So we had to wait and get the report. We have it.
So when do you intend to...
Hopefully tomorrow we will lay that report.
Are you clearing them now?
The report will come. You see what we're doing.
But what were you looking for? People are wondering.
When we finish the vetting, we sit together as a committee. And if there is certain information we need to verify, we do. And in respect of the first 13, there were 2 of them which we wanted information to support some statement they had made. Now we have the information, so we'll add them to the last 3 we did.
Had it anything to do with their posture when they appeared before you?
No.
How about their competence?
No.
What kind of information? Audiovisual documents from BNI?
Document.
We heard rumors that some of the things that you were expecting included an audio recording of Osafo Maafo
No.
speaking ahead of the campaign.
No.
So when are we expecting the report to be presented?
Hopefully we can lay it tomorrow.
So the point is that by hook or crook or all of that things being going, it's likely Osafo Maafo
all the first 13 nominees have been cleared, and the report will reflect that.
Well, that's Chairman of Parliament's Appointments Committee, Joe Osafo. He spoke yesterday saying they were going to lay this new document before Parliament for approval of the persons who have not been approved so far. But the minority says they are not going to allow that. And Joseph Opoku-Gapo is my colleague, and he's been very familiar with Parliament. He reports from Parliament as well. So, Joseph, really, what does the minority want more clarity on?
So the case of Boakye Agyarko, for example, they are claiming that he quoted some statistics relating to the Electricity Company of Ghana and the debts that they owe, and also the debt owed by the Water River Authority. And so some members of the committee are challenging the figures that he put out during his vetting. And so he was asked to produce evidence to back the figures that he put out, because the committee members are insisting that when you appear before the Appointments Committee, you are speaking under oath. And so everything that you say should be as truthful as possible. So they want him to provide the necessary evidence to back the statistics that he gave. That's one leg of it. There's another leg of it having to do with some claims he made during the vetting, that an issue relating to Ghana's gas production, the World Bank put pressure on President Mahama to take some decisions, and they are asking him to provide documents to back that. Muntaka Mubarak, the MP for Aswase, raised that issue during the vetting, and so they are waiting for documentation on that. So those are the 2 issues that has to do with Mr. Boakye Agyarko that are pending. On Osafo Maafo, the senior minister, they are claiming that he made some alleged ethnocentric comments ahead of the campaign. Well, you heard me ask Jose Wusu about it earlier. He really didn't respond to it directly, but we understand that he allegedly claimed, Mr. Osafo Maafo allegedly claimed ahead of the campaign that ethnic groups with dominant numbers in terms of the population should be allowed to manage the nation's resources. And so when he appeared before the committee, he was asked about that. He said he won't apologize. He said nothing wrong. And so the committee wants some audio visuals, to confirm whether he really said that before then they go ahead and give approval for him. And then there's the final bit, his asset declaration form. He's been a minister before.
Yes.
So they would want to see that as well before they give him the green light.
Yes, I remember Muntaka Mohammed saying that he had to provide 4 receipts of asset declaration. He had only provided 2. But let's talk about this now. The majority is hoping to push these 2 for approval today, but the minority is saying no. What can the minority do to still stall the process?
It's looking interesting. So everything is still with the appointments committee. It's not gotten to the floor of the House yet. And so we understand that the appointment committee, for example, is meeting today. If you heard Joseph also very clearly, he made the point that all the 13 nominees have actually been cleared by the committee, except that they just needed those additional details, and then the green light to be given. But the minority holds a different position. They think that they've all not been cleared, and as you heard Mr. Osei also say, they were waiting for the necessary documentation from the 2 in order to come to a firm conclusion. The minority leader, Harun Idrisu, thinks that they would have to analyze and scrutinize the additional documents that have come very carefully before then a decision will be taken on whether they should be given the green light or not. But the majority side disagrees, and they think that everything else has been cleared. Once those details have come, then these ministers are ready for approval. That's where the confusion is. But the reality is that even on the appointments committee, the majority side has the larger numbers, and so the expectation is that every decision that they take should be by consensus, where everyone agrees to the decision and then they go ahead. But when push comes to shove, then they are forced to cast vote on the issues. And clearly when...
That's on the floor of Parliament or at the appointments committee?
Both at the appointments committee and on the floor of Parliament. But particularly at the appointment committee level, the expectation is that these decisions should be taken by consensus. And when that doesn't happen, that's when they cast votes to take a decision. And clearly, at both levels, the NPP side has the majority. So if they really want to push this through, it's likely they'll push it through. The appointment committee would go ahead and recommend that these persons are approved today. And on the floor of the House, again, they would have the numbers and they would go ahead and give the approval.
So per the rules of Parliament, this can be passed without an appeal? Or the minority can appeal?
No. This is what happens. The appointment committee is expected to submit its report recommending approval or otherwise for these people. And then when it comes to the House, then the House will give the approval. So once the appointment committee, because the NPP has the majority in the appointment committee, once it recommends the approval and it gets to the floor, and again, they have the numbers and the larger House agrees that, yes, let's approve the report of the appointment committee, there is no second chance to debate it or to pull brakes on that.
All right, Joseph, are there any other issues we should expect from the floor of Parliament today?
So, per what they describe as the other paper, which is the business activities for each session of Parliament, today, for example, it's expected that the second report of the appointment committee on the president's nominations for ministerial appointment will be brought to the floor today by the chairman of the appointment committee. Originally, the expectation was that this particular report would contain the recommendations on the final batch of nominees who were vetted. Dr. Matthew Opoku Prempeh, Dr. Akoto Uswefiye, and Kweku Agyeman Menu. Those are the three that originally their approval was supposed to come to the floor today for approval. But from the hint that we're getting, it's likely that once the green light is given at the level of the appointment committee, the names of Osafo Maafo and also Boakye Agyarko may be added to that, and then approval may be given for all 5. But that will depend on what will happen with a meeting of the appointment committee that we're told would be happening this morning before the House goes to sit generally. So we look forward to see what will happen.
Thank you very much for those updates. Joseph Opoku Gappo is my colleague, and he's bringing us some info on what to expect in Parliament today. You're watching Joy News Desk with me, Benis Abubedi.